What if everything you assumed about a luxury car was turned on its head? This is the 2017 Volvo S90, but it's not the one built in Sweden. This specific model rolled out of a factory in China, and that fact alone brings up a million questions. Is the legendary Scandinavian luxury and safety still here, or did it get lost in translation? Is this a flawed import, or is it the most overlooked used car bargain on the market today? We spent a week driving this China-built S90 to find out, and what we discovered surprised us. Stick around, because by the end of this review, you'll know the shocking truth about this unique luxury sedan. So, let's get acquainted with the car at the center of this mystery. This is the 2017 Volvo S90, the flagship sedan that marked a design revolution for the Swedish brand. When it launched, it completely redefined Volvo's image with that stunning, Thor's hammer, headlight design, a minimalist Scandinavian interior, and a relentless focus on safety that put other luxury brands on notice. But here's the twist that makes this particular car so fascinating for the US market. While most S90s for America were sourced from Volvo's plant in Sweden, a limited number, like this one, were manufactured in Volvo's state-of-the-art factory in Daqing, China. This was part of Geely's strategy to build cars in the market where they're sold, and that leads to the multi-million-dollar question we're here to answer. Does changing the factory address change the soul of the car? Does this Chinese-built S90 deliver the same premium experience, the same rock-solid build quality, and the same reassuring driving dynamics that made the Swedish version so acclaimed? Over the next few minutes, we're going to put it under the microscope. We'll dive deep into the exterior details, experience that gorgeous interior, and most importantly, take it out on the road to see if the driving experience lives up to the Volvo nameplate. The answers we found were not what we expected. Alright, let's pop the hood and get into what makes this China-built S90 tick. First, the heart of the beast. This is the T6 Inscription model, which means it's powered by a 2.0-liter supercharged and turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Now, on paper, that 316 horsepower and 295 lb-ft of torque sounds seriously impressive for a four-banger. It's paired with an 8-speed automatic gearbox that sends power to all four wheels. But how does that all feel on the road? Well, put your foot down, and the initial shove is confident and smooth. It's not a neck-snapping sports sedan, and it doesn't pretend to be. The power delivery is linear and refined, perfectly matching the S90's grand touring character. It's quiet, composed, and gets you up to illegal speeds with an effortless ease that's genuinely luxurious. The ride quality is where this car truly begins to shine. It glides over bumps and imperfections with a quiet thump that makes you feel insulated from the chaos of the real world. And then you step inside, and wow! This is where the Volvo magic is supposed to live, and I have to say, the first impression is spectacular. You're greeted by those incredible, sculpted seats that are both supple and supportive for long journeys. The dashboard is a masterclass in minimalist Scandinavian design, dominated by a beautiful, vertically oriented touchscreen that controls almost everything. The materials? For the most part, they're fantastic. Soft touch leather, rail metal accents, and that gorgeous driftwood style inlay that feels warm and organic. But this is where our investigation gets interesting. As we spent more time inside, we started looking closer. In this specific China-built example, we noticed a few very subtle things. A piece of trim that didn't feel quite as tightly fitted as we remembered in the Swedish models. A faint, occasional rattle from the sunroof on a particularly rough road. Now, are these deal breakers? Absolutely not for most people. But for a perfectionist shopping in the luxury segment, it raises an eyebrow. And that massive touchscreen, while beautiful, brings us to the S90's most famous quirk, the software. It can feel a bit slow to respond at times, and burying simple functions like seat heating in a submenu is just not ideal. It's a trade-off for that clean, button-free look. So, we have a car that drives with serene confidence and cradles you in a stunning, minimalist cabin. But we also have these tiny, nagging questions about long-term build integrity and daily usability. This leaves us at a crucial point. Because all of these impressions, the good and the potentially not so good, culminate in one final, critical question: what is this thing actually worth? And that's where we're about to go. Because when you hear the price of this China-built S90 today on the used market and stack it up against everything we've just experienced, well, the final calculation might just shock you. So, we've lived with this car, we've poked and prodded the interior, and we've talked about the specs. But the true test of any car, especially one with this kind of question mark hanging over it, happens out here on the road. This is where the rubber literally meets the road, and where we answer the biggest question: does it still feel like a Volvo? We took it on everything from congested city streets to a winding back road to really push it. And here's the moment of truth, the revelation that honestly caught us off guard. The China-built S90 doesn't just feel like a Volvo, it drives with the exact same core DNA as its Swedish-built sibling. The steering is light and effortless at low speeds, making it a breeze to park, but it weights up nicely on the highway, feeling stable and secure. The body control is impeccable. Over a series of bumps, the suspension just soaks up the impact without ever feeling floaty or uncontrolled. It's that magical balance of comfort and composure that defined the S90 at its global launch. We were listening for anything, a creak, a rattle, a vibration that felt out of place, but on the move, it's just as quiet, just as refined, and just as isolating as any other S90 we've driven. The powertrain is smooth, the all-wheel drive system provides unshakable confidence, and the legendary seats are every bit as comfortable after a 2-hour drive as they were after 2 minutes. This is the turning point. The single biggest fear for a potential buyer, that the driving experience was compromised, has been completely put to rest. The soul of the Volvo is intact. The engineering, the safety, the serene driving character, it's all here. But this realization changes everything. Because if the car drives just as well, looks just as good, and has the same incredible interior, then the whole conversation shifts. It's no longer a question of quality, but a question of value, and that means we have to talk about price, and whether this is the smartest used luxury car secret you're not supposed to know about. So, after all that, what's the final verdict on the China-built Volvo S90? It's simple: this car is a certified used car steal. Let's be blunt. The single biggest drawback, the perceived lack of prestige from its build location, is also its greatest advantage. Because of that stigma, you can find these S90s for thousands less than their identical Swedish-built counterparts. You are getting 95% of the exact same car, the stunning design, the serene ride, the incredibly comfortable interior, and the top-tier safety, for a significant discount. So, who is this car for? It's the perfect choice for the savvy, value-driven luxury buyer who cares more about the substance of the driving experience than a line on a VIN sticker. It's for someone who understands that modern global manufacturing has leveled the playing field in quality. However, if you are a perfectionist where every panel gap and the absolute pinnacle of resale value is your top priority, you might still lean towards the Swedish model and pay the premium. In the broader US market, this S90 represents a fascinating trend. It proves that exceptional luxury and quality can come from unexpected places, forcing us to rethink our biases. It's a benchmark for what a modern, intelligent used luxury car purchase can look like. So, what do you think? Does the idea of getting a nearly identical Volvo flagship for a bargain price outweigh the "made in China" factor? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious to hear this debate. If this deep dive helped you see this car in a new light, do us a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more unflinching, honest car reviews. Thanks for watching.